All right, let's keep it a buck. How many of you walked past the weight room in your gym and just kept walking? Maybe someone told you, whether a friend, a trainer, you read it in a magazine, or even the internet, that if you pick up those weights, you're going to look like you're training for the Olympics. But I need you to hear this. This is one of the most damaging myths that's ruining the fitness world, in my opinion. But today we're going to break it all the way down because here's what I do know: that fear, that one belief, it might be the single thing standing between you becoming the strongest version of yourself. So if you say you don't want to lift weights because you're afraid you're going to get bulky, sit right here. This video is for you. All right. So check it out. You already know who it is. It's your boy Alchemy Fitness. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I appreciate you. So this is inspired by actually a friend of mine in the gym. He was telling a member that they need to go a little bit lighter, right? Females, they need to go a little bit lighter to really tone. Instead of, if they go heavier, they're gonna go a little bulky. And every time I hear the term bulky, the word bulky, I actually cringe because weights don't make you bulky. So like with everything, when you lose your weight, you gotta go back to the beginning. How did we get here? All right. So I'm gonna talk about how this idea even came about. All right. It didn't fall out of the sky. Obviously, they got it from somewhere, and people have continued to believe this myth. All right. So, I guess back in the days, when you saw a bodybuilder and people who were bodybuilding, they had an enormous amount of mass on them. So a lot of people obviously look at them like, I don't want to look like that. That's too big. That too much, you know what I mean? That's too much mass walking around, too much weight on your body, which is understandable. You know what I'm saying? Because now we're in the lean physique kind of era, right? But only thing though, the misconception of that is, remember, those guys for the most part on that level, they're taking, they have external assistance to help them. Not saying that they don't work hard to build their physique, but they're an elite group. You know what I'm saying? Some people think because I'm lifting weights, I'm gonna be a bodybuilder. Nah, that's like saying because I don't want to get my driver's license because I don't want to become a NASCAR driver. Doesn't make any sense. With everything, there's always levels. All right. So just because, for an example, you do 3 sets of 10 with your biceps, you're not gonna have 24-inch pythons. You know what I mean? It don't go like that. You know what I mean? Especially in one of the things too, because I train a lot of female clients. That's one of the challenges that I go with, that I have with them. It's always telling them, if you go up in weight or do progressive overload, oh, I don't want to look, I'm gonna look too bulky. I don't look like a man. I just want to be toned. And to be honest with you, there's no such thing as toned. It's either build muscle, pardon me, and burn fat. It's simple as that. There's no such thing as toned. You want to build muscle, if you want that lean look, you got to lift. All right. And this is why that's why I strongly suggest. But before I say that, and along with that myth was weights is to build muscle, right? People who want to get huge, and cardio is for those who want to get lean. But as time go on, the science is showing that's actually contrary, right? So more and more people are getting the research out now and starting to know that weightlifting is the key. Don't get me wrong, you have to do cardio as well for your heart health and stuff like that. All right. So these are tools to transform your body. All right. And like I said, this is something that I deal with especially my female clients as well. Challenging them to push past that myth is definitely a challenge. So when we look at the science, which is actually fascinating, when you lift weights, your muscle experience what is called mechanical tension, right? So tiny microscopic tears happen in your muscle fibers. And when your body repair those tears, it becomes back stronger. It's like healing. It's something you go through life, right? But don't kill you, make you stronger. Your body is the same thing, right? So that's how your muscle grows, by tearing down the fibers in the gym. That's why you can never outwork a bad diet. Don't believe the hype. But I will touch on that a little bit later, right? So that's the key to understand. So the degree of muscle growth is regulated by several major factors. Yes, your genetics play a part, but don't use your genetics as a scapegoat for you looking the way you look. You still have to even if you have a great physique, genetics play a part, but you still have to work hard. and it has the opposite effect as well. All right. So definitely hormones levels play a part. That's why I recommend going to the doctor and get your blood work checked out as well. Your training volume. If you go into the junk volume uh, domain, you're gonna have a point of diminishing returns. I'm a high volume guy myself, but there's sometimes I'm like too much is too much. It's like there's only so much blood you could put in the muscle, so to speak, right? Your nutrition, definitely, and your consistency over time. All right. So hormone levels, I have to stress that, right? Because testosterone is the primary driver for significant muscle mass. All right, the average man has testosterone levels anywhere from 3 to 1,000 nanograms per deciliter. The average woman is about 15 to 70. And this is why women can never, quote unquote, look like a man lifting weights, because they don't have as much testosterone in their bodies as we do, as men do. So that's already null and void. All right, ladies. All right, and that's so some would say that's not a small difference, but that's a massive physiological difference, right? So when the average woman is lifting weights, is going to build lean functional muscle, not large mass muscle, where that fear is built around, like we just said. But definitely for my fellas, you can build more significant size, but even that won't make you bulky. You know what I'm saying? And that's not by accident. It's the product. What happens is what you want is intentional effort, serious program, and caloric surplus over a long period of time. Goes back to your diet again. You want to get bulky or get bigger? Caloric surplus, right? So what weightlifting actually does for people, it increases lean muscle mass. Therefore, more muscle mass equates to more calories burning at rest. And this is what you want. When you do cardio, it's you're burning calories while you're moving. So as soon as you stop that treadmill or the stairmaster or the elliptical, calories stop. With weight training or strength training, it's active. It's an ongoing process. All right. So your metabolism is burning more. All right. So what is it? So that means your metabolism speeds up even when you're not doing anything. All right. It improves bone density, which is very important. I've done several videos on that. Why men and women should lift weights, right? Especially for women, because you ladies deal with osteoporosis more frequently than men do. All right. Also strengthens cognitive connective tissue, which improves your posture and increases your functional strength for everyday life. We call that ADL, the activities of daily living. So once you understand those patterns, whether it's squatting, uh, pushing overhead, pulling, rotational, and hinging, you can program a sound strength training program around those basic movements, because those are things that we do every day. All right. So when people talk about, oh, it's functional, this, that, and the third, just understand those planes of motion, and whatever you're doing is functional because you're moving your body. All right. What is difference is the performance. So if you're a basketball player, I'm not going to train you like you're training for the Mr. Olympia, but we may use those same movement patterns. That's all. So don't overcomplicate it. All right. All right. So also, it's all about body recomposition. We talked about earlier about burning fat and building muscle. That's what it's called. So it just means a ratio between muscle to fat in your body shifts, and you lose the fat, you gain muscle, so you look leaner and more defined. That's all it is. All right. All right. So we're gonna talk about the the fear of, I don't want to get bulky. You know what I'm saying? It goes deeper than that. So for a lot of people, they've been taught our body should take up less space, that the smaller is better, that our visible strength is somehow unfeminine or too much or threatening. Now, if you're a man, you need to look threatening. Plain and simple. You need to look threatening. It doesn't have to be, you got to be 200 pounds, although some people will say that. It's just about how you carry your weight and how you move, and that energy that you move with. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be faking over thug, moving your shoulders or anything like that, but you just want to be your presence to be felt. So that's what it all comes down to. You know what I'm saying? For men. And women, you can still have a nice physique and still walk gracefully as well. All right. So don't even think about that. All right. So a lot of people think that fitness, when we think about it, fitness and wellness doesn't have to like exist in a vacuum. They inside of a culture where people is telling, especially women, they how should they should look for generations. You know what I mean? But like I said, that I don't want to get bulky thing really cringe me. And sometimes they're really saying I've been told what I'm supposed to look like, and I'm afraid to cross that line. That's what it really is, because it's all about fitting into social norms. A woman's supposed to look like this, look weak, feeble, soft. You can still have lean muscle mass and look soft as a woman by strength training. It doesn't change anything. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, that's one of the challenges that I have with my clients as well. All right. So you should always think of getting stronger. That's why I love Kung Fu movies. One of the things they always talk about is getting strong. They get their ass beat. They go try to get their honor back. They go train, come back better. And actually just test you for life. Right? Damn, I got to get stronger. When you take inventory of yourself, why not start in the gym by changing your body? You know what I mean? Women should practice body game too, I think. You know what I mean? Shit, we like something to look at. Y'all know that. All right. So don't think of muscle as a flaw, but it's power. I think a lot of people don't want to look powerful. They rather have a victim mentality. But pick some weight up, man. Get a trainer, someone who's certified and qualified to help you know what they're doing, and to tap in to your greatness while you're doing it. You know what I mean? Because what it also does, it gives you confidence. You start seeing you walk differently. You start talking differently. You start showing up differently. Because as your body gets stronger, it also has a direct correlation to your mind for the most part. All right. And that's not a cliche or anything like that. It really is. Look at those who are actually has a strong body and they got some sense. It's correlation that started in the gym. All right. So don't even think the contrary to that. Be strong. All right. So I hope this makes sense for you guys. You know what I mean? Because as a personal trainer first, like I said, I say it over and over again. I felt like my umpteenth time saying it. I really cringe when they talk about weights make me bulky. It doesn't. It actually tears down your fibers. That's why nutrition is very important. If you want to lose weight, you go on a caloric surplus. If you want to gain weight, you go on a if you want to lose weight, you go on a caloric deficit. If you want to gain weight, you go on a surplus and eat the right foods. It's simple as that. We try to overcomplicate it. Of course, there's other variables, but for the most part, that's how it works. All right. So weights won't make you bulky. Please. Anybody tell you that? Just walk away from them. All right. So here are some movements that you can do to start some practical takeaways, right? You know me, if you watch my channel, I am a big uh, fan of compound movements. So for those who don't know, compound movements are movements that work multiple muscle groups at once. So like your squats, deadlift, rows, presses, the foundation. Those are the foundational movements. Like I told you earlier about the 6 planes that you travel, right? Because they burn the most calories and they build the most functional strength. All right. And you get the most bang for your buck for your time as well. So you don't got to be in the gym for 30 minutes or 3 hours. You know what I mean? Number two, don't fear progressive overload. You got to increase, just gradually increase the weight over time and your body will adapt. Right. That's why another reason why we your training program should be at least 12 to 16 weeks. So that's 3 to 4 months. Yes, it's boring, it's mundane, but that's how you get the results to the body that you want. Simple as that. And this is why how you have to track by gradually increasing the weight throughout the program so you can take record of what you're doing. All right. Number three, good nutrition. That is that's actually probably number two or three, really, in the plan on how the importance is, right? So like I said, you're in a caloric surplus, right? You would have to if you're eating in a caloric surplus, you got to eat more calories than you burn. You got to lift heavier weight. Your body will burn more mass. If you're eating at a maintenance or slight deficit, you'll lean out while building muscle, right? So that's the key. I would suggest if you don't know, getting with a nutritionist or a dietitian, or you start tracking your food on like my fitness pal and everything like that for a week or two, just so you can have a good relationship with food. Because oftentimes a lot of people think they're eating less and they're really eating more, and vice versa. So if you're not tracking, you're slacking. You have to have an idea what you're doing, how much food you're consuming on a daily basis. All right. So number four, Give it time. You have to be patient with yourself. This is a journey. Transformation takes time. And do not make the mistake of comparing your chapter 1 to someone chapter 10. Do not do that, because once you start comparing, that's when you start losing. Focus on yourself. All right? Trust me, because you're thinking, oh, I'm not where they are, but you don't know their background. They probably been doing this shit for like 20 years, 30 years, 15 years, 10 years, and you just starting thinking you're going to get their body overnight. It don't go like that. All right? I highly suggest that you take pictures bi-weekly or weekly, right? Because that's one of the main things that you want to record yourself or keep a track of. Your pictures, your energy level, and how your clothes fit you. All right. And you can do the scale uh, once a week or bi-weekly, because you get too caught up on the scale, you can get discouraged, because what people what people will forget is that when they keep looking at the scale, if it doesn't move, they'll get discouraged, right? But what tends to happen, remember, you're going through body recomposition. The scale won't move, but your clothes may fit differently. You look slimmer in your pictures. Your energy level is a little different. So this is why I prioritize those 3 over the scale. Okay? So keep that in mind. And number 5, when it's number 4, track how you feel, not just how you look. All right? Energy is everything. Okay? So there you have it. So the weight room is not your enemy, it's actually your friend. That's a myth. With all this information here, there's no reason for us to be ignorant of these myths anymore. All right? So as I conclude, get into the weight room. If you need help, get a trainer. I highly recommend that you do. You know, whether you picking up 10-pound dumbbell or 100-pound, just keep showing up and choosing yourself and make the conscious decision of being stronger, getting stronger, because it is an investment. All right? And yourself and your body will thank you, and your future self will thank you. All right? So hope this made sense to you guys. If this resonates with you, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're looking for a online program to transform you from lead to gold, click the link in my description. We reach out to you and see if we can help. All right, this is Alchemy Fitness signing off for you, transform from lead to gold. Train hard, train smart, and train safe. Peace.